Flats, searches up for a scrubland, then casts Hullbreaker Horror. Welcome to Cardboard Content, where we aim to develop our skills and grow the competitive Commander community. Hey guys, it's me, Benedict. Welcome back to another round of Showdown at Darkside. This is going to be round 4. Unfortunately, round 2 and 3 ended up in a draw. We have an interesting game coming up. Who says you need a Mystic Remora or a Rhystic Study to draw cards? These guys show that you don't need those 2 enchantments to draw a bunch of cards. Before we jump into the game, I would love your guys' assistance in hitting that 500 subscriber mark. We're super close, and I would like to get it within the month of May. So if you guys can share the video, leave a comment down below, because it does help the algorithm. Without further ado, here's our game. Starting us off, we have Weston in the lower right hand corner playing Atraxa. Next we have Cody on Sisay, then Robert playing Tymna, Malcolm, and Bella on Brago. Everyone has an opening hand of 7. Weston starts us off with a City of Brass and then passes turn. On Cody's turn, he plays a Verdant Catacomb, fetches up for a Savannah, then casts Esper Sentinel, passes turn. We move to Robert's turn. He plays a Tundra, casts Mox Diamond, triggers Esper Sentinel, Cody draws, and then pitches a Verdant Catacomb to Mox Diamond. On Bella's turn, he plays Island, then casts Mana Crypt, triggering Esper Sentinel, Cody draws again, and then Bella passes turn to Weston. Weston plays Reading Pool, then casts Demonic Tutor, triggering Esper Sentinel. Robert responds by casting Archivist of Agama. He gains life and draws a card. We move on to Cody's turn. Cody plays a Wooded Foothills, then casts Mox Diamond, pitching a Tropical Island. Then he cracks his Wooded Foothill, triggering Archivist. He gets a Bayou. Robert draws and gains a life. Then Cody casts his Commander Sisay and passes turn. We move on to Robert's turn. On his upkeep, he casts Enlightened Tutor, triggering Esper Sentinel. Cody draws. Robert tutors up a Mana Crypt, plays Misty Rainforest, then casts Mana Crypt. Cracks his Misty Rainforest for a Watery Grave, then casts Talion, naming 2. Passes turn to Bella. On Bella's turn, he rolls for his Mana Crypt. He takes 3. Plays a Gemstone Cavern, and then passes turn to Weston. Weston plays Ancient Tomb, then casts Smothering Tithe. Triggers Cody's Esper Sentinel, he draws. Bella responds with a Swan Song, targeting Smothering Tithe. And that also triggers Cody's Esper Sentinel, he draws again. On Cody's turn, he plays Underground Sea, then casts Deathrite Shaman. Triggering Talion, he loses 2, Robert draws a card, and then passes turn. On Robert's turn, he plays Forbidden Orchard, then casts his Commander Tymna. Bella responds with a Force of Will, pitching Counterspell. Triggers Cody's Esper Sentinel, pays for Esper Sentinel. Tymna gets countered, then Robert casts Mox Amber, triggering Esper Sentinel. Robert pays for Esper Sentinel, then casts Demonic Tutor. Passes turn to Bella. We move on to Bella's turn. He rolls for his Mana Crypt, takes another 3, then casts Fibblethip. Triggers Talion, he loses 2, Robert draws. Then Bella plays Cavern of Souls. Passes turn. On Weston's turn, he casts Flesh Duplicate, then chooses Talion, and also names 2. Then triggers Talion. Weston loses 2, and Robert draws another card. We move on to Cody's turn. Cody plays Scalding Tarn, cracks a Scalding Tarn, triggers Archivist, and tutors up a Volcanic Island. Then casts Invasion of Ikoria for 3, triggers Archivist again, and puts a Cutsoul into play. Then passes turn to Robert. On Robert's turn, he rolls for Mana Crypt, then plays Morphic Pool, then plays Teferi Time Raveler, triggering Esper Sentinel. Cody draws, then responds with Force of Will, pitching Mindbreak Trap. We move on to Bella's turn. He rolls for Mana Crypt, loses 3 again, then casts Fellwar Stone, triggering both Talions and Esper Sentinel. Robert responds to his trigger with Vampiric Tutor, which triggers Esper Sentinel again. Cody draws, Vampiric Tutor resolves, Robert draws off Talion, second Esper Sentinel resolves, Cody draws again, and then Weston draws for his Talion. Bella passes turn to Weston. On Weston's upkeep, Weston removes a vanishing counter, then casts Path of Exile, targeting Sisay. Triggers Cody's Esper Sentinel. Weston pays. We move to Weston's end step, and Robert casts Dress Down, triggering Weston's Talion. Weston draws, and Robert loses 2. Esper Sentinel triggers, and Robert pays for that as well. We move on to Cody's turn. He plays a Misty Rainforest, tutors up a Tundra, plays Mana Crypt, then Nature's Lore, tutoring up a Taiga. Then casts his commander again, Sisay. We move on to Robert's turn. He plays a Marsh Flats, searches up for a Scrubland, then casts Hullbreaker Horror. Bella responds to the Hullbreaker by casting Silence, which triggers Esper Sentinel, but he pays. Robert responds by casting Dark Ritual. Cody draws. Then Robert casts Tainted Pact, triggers Weston's Talion. He responds by casting Mystical Tutor, then triggers Esper Sentinel again. Cody draws. Weston tutors up a card, triggers Archivist. Robert draws from Archivist. Weston tutors up a Mindbreak Trap, resolves Talion's draw. Then he casts Mindbreak Trap, targeting Tainted Pact and Hullbreaker Horror. Mindbreak resolves and exiles both spells. Then Silence resolves. Then the turn gets passed to Bella. Bella rolls for Mana Crypt, takes no damage, then passes turn to Weston. Weston ticks down his Talion, then casts Veil of Summer, triggering Esper Sentinel. He casts Talisman of Dominance, triggering Talion. He loses 2, Robert draws. Then Weston casts Thassa's Oracle. No responses, and then casts Demonic Consultation with Thassa's ETB on the stack. No responses again. Then Weston wins by having a devotion higher than his deck. Good job to you, Weston, on timing everything there. End game summation, I want to say people made a decent attempt at trying to win the game. Cody got stopped a few times there. Robert tried to cast his Hullbreaker Horror, but got countered with one of the only spells that probably works very well against it. A missed opportunity on my perspective. Cody revealed his hand. I noticed a Aldamri's Call. If he timed it properly, waited for Weston's Consult to resolve before the Thassa's Oracle trigger resolves, that would have triggered Weston's Talion, which forces him to draw, and he would have lost the game right there and then. There's a few cards out there that force you to draw. What comes to mind is an Esper Sentinel, Crom, Talion. All these cards force you to draw. So when you are doing that Thassa's Oracle line, make sure you do remove the creature that's gonna force you to draw, or make sure there's no way for them to interact with you prior to you winning. Thank you again to everyone who attended the event. Looking forward to the next one. If you'd like to support the event and come to our next one, topdeck.gg. We'll have our next event posted there soon. If you want to see an event near you or want to attend one of the events, you can also check their website out, topdeck.gg. More information down below. Also down below is our social media and our Shopify store. As soon as I get our new mats in, we'll have new mats for the store. Hopefully you guys can get your hands on that. I only have a limited amount of those, so it's going to be first come, first serve. If you want to support the channel another way, you can join us on Patreon, like these guys. Now for Rootin' Tootin' Patreons. Our content consumers: Tier 2, Aaron at 4, Big Yoda at 4, Lex at 2, Marcus at 2, and Dylan and Troy. On to our cardboard cutouts: Tier 3, Wong at 6, Matt at 6, and Albert at 5. Much obliged for all your guys' support. If you'd like to join these guys, patreon.com/cardboardcontent. See you guys next time for more content. I'm not wearing pants.